right, you ready?
Ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Carry Podcast, episode number 20 today. And as you can see, if you are watching
Man,
online,
did we unpack.
we are having a continuation, a part 2 of episode 19 here, where we are continuing to talk about our daily carry and tactics and what our preferences are as far as home defense situations, truck defense situations, you name it, whatever the situation may call for it. Hopefully we'll be able to get into even more tactics today. But as you can see on the table, if you are watching and you're not just listening, we have this time went ahead and unpacked. Now, we did just bring the same things from last episode, but last episode we weren't even able to unpack everything. We only went through a couple of these items that are here on the table now. So now we have everything unpacked. You'll see some of the items from the last episode, and then we've got a couple of items that we also added. And these are all the items that were already in our bags from last episode. So this is some of our guns. Let's clarify that. This is not all of our guns. There's plenty of other guns that we can talk about and have different scenarios, different applications. ARs, we don't even have a single AR on the set right now of the podcast. So we don't have any ARs, nothing long range. I know that we have shotguns as well. I mean, obviously the only shotgun is the judge that's sitting on the table right now. But these are just some of the most common weapons. I'd say that these are some of the weapons that get the most time in hand for both of us. And I think that's probably the reason why we brought them on set in particular, because this is the daily carry.
Right.
And these are the ones that these are go-tos, basically.
Yeah, this is 90% of mine. So go to daily, go to training. Oh, I have my other training one I'll pull out. Go to CQB in the house minus shotgun. And like you said, no long range, like Creedmoors and whatnot. But yeah, let's. So we went over a lot of weapons. Let's talk a little bit of tactics today. And you said something very important. You said truck. Explain that for a second, because that is something that, man, you just, in a good way, the hairs go up on the back of my neck. Not like, I mean, like I literally love truck CQB.
So we actually talked a couple episodes ago while we were reacting to some videos out there. We were reacting to motorcycle gang up on that Range Rover, and we talked about some scenarios in the truck. We didn't really get deep into it. We were more just talking hypothetical, and that's obviously we'll still be talking a lot of hypotheticals. But I mean, the home invasion chances, they're there. You need to be ready. You want to be ready. But honestly, I believe most of the statistics are going to point toward you're probably going to find yourself in a situation needing to defend yourself with a weapon outside of your home.
More than likely.
And in your truck, in your car, whatever you drive, road rage, it's a real thing, man. And it's important to be ready. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying you react to a road rager who's just flying by and slinging lead down you by pulling yours and slinging lead back down at him on the freeway. But you got to have some preparedness. Yeah. You got to make sure that you are taking that weight, that responsibility, and you're taking it seriously, because there are some very real world examples. And man, we could pull up, I'm sure, lots of different videos of having to defend yourself in a vehicle. I know that you have experience. I've never shot through a windshield, but I know the importance of it in training because it changes things.
Yeah.
And I know because, I mean, people have seen it. If you've watched the intro video to the Daily Carry podcast, then you have seen some of those highlight clips of range days, but also shooting through windshield. I believe that was you shooting through the windshield, right? On that video?
If it's not me, it's one of my students. But yeah, we do a 4-hour segment on both projectile and we go to junkyards. We made a contract with a dude that was up off of Sheridan, one of the junkyards up there, and he would provide windows to us like in the dozens of cars that would get dropped and scrapped. So before he'd crush them, we'd just take a trailer up there with a bunch of blankets and wrap them up and bring 30, 40 home at a time. And you'd go through 2 or 3 windows on a Saturday by the time everybody shot. But yeah, it was really good. And it's really important to know, what are you punching? I mean, if you're running, lead versus full metal jacket, versus hollow points. I mean, there's just, everything reacts differently. Angle of window, shooting through a flat Jeep Wrangler window is entirely different than shooting out of a Tesla, because it's really hard to shoot out of a Tesla window if you've never done it.
Right. I mean, there's so much that we can unpack with the vehicles. I mean, here's the thing. You'll hear a lot of guys talk about their truck gun, right? And that's important to distinguish. There's the difference between a daily carry and a truck gun.
That's right.
And I think that both are equally as important. I think that having something in your truck that is more, okay, stuff hit the fan, it's time to go. And you probably are going to need a little bit more bandwidth than just a regular daily carry. And even regardless, even if it is within the bandwidth of your daily carry, well, you have more than you need, which is good. You want to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? So for me, a truck gun, I like to keep a 357 lever action behind my back seat. It's awesome, man. I love it. Now, is everybody going to say that that's the best ever? No, but
do you drive with your knee when you use it?
Whenever I use the lever action? Oh, you're talking about driving and shooting? Oh, well, here's the thing, okay? When I say truck gun, I should probably put on there plural because I have a few guns that stay dedicated in my truck. One of them is a P320, the gun that shoots itself, which probably needs to be swapped out here pretty soon. Trying to make a decision on what that should be, but I always keep. So my daily carry is a 365, P365, which is still a great gun. As far as I know, they don't shoot themselves. I don't think there's been any reports of 365s shooting themselves. I didn't even pull out my carry guns and show them last episode, so I'll show that now as we're on the topic of truck guns. So my daily carry usually is going to be this P365, and this is literally original. This is it. I mean, it's cool that it's so small, and you got a mag that fits in there flush, and you got 12 plus 1, so you got 13 rounds in this little guy. And I've shot so many rounds through this that I know what it's going to do. I trust it. It hasn't had any malfunctions at all. It's not. I don't think that I have nearly the count of your gun your Glock 35 or whatever it is that you use for training, but I do have at least a couple thousand rounds through that. No malfunctions. And then in the most recent iteration that I do carry, sometimes, most of the time I'll carry this if I have like a baggier shirt. So in the winter, I'll carry this because it is a little bit bigger. It's got a little bit more bells and whistles on it. It's got a red dot, and then it's actually a green dot. And then it's got a light on the bottom. And this is a P365X macro. So it's got a built-in compensator here at the top of the slide, which is cool. It shoots great. I do like this gun. This gun is 17 plus 1. Those mags are interchangeable. So the 17-round mag that fits in the X macro actually fits in the regular P365 too, which is absolutely insane. SIG has done a very good job as far as mag capacity is concerned, for sure. But I'm saying that to say, those are the ones that are going to be on my person. I'm going to be carrying that small back, and I have those ready to go, whether I'm in my truck or whether I get out of my truck and I'm about the day doing my business. In my truck, I usually like to have that 357 lever in the back seat, and I have a couple extra boxes of 357. Now, is it practical as far as reloading? No, but it actually holds a good amount of 357 rounds in it. That's just if I really need to stretch the legs and get out a little bit further. Besides that, the P320, I've got 21-round mag sticks that are just sitting there ready to go.
That's good.
So I've got 3 21-round mags, and they stay in there. They're ready to go, and that's in the center console chest. There is a new law that's going to be going into effect in Colorado as far as your guns in your car having to have a locking mechanism associated with it. Are you familiar with that? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
So that might.
I mean, I've heard it.
That's probably going to change the landscape a little bit for some of the people who are having dedicated truck guns, like the 357 lever. Unless I get some big box lock that is custom and fits under the back seat of my truck, then that's probably going to have to go away. You know, if we're going to comply with that law, which I know there's a lot of people out there who do not comply.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: the truck itself has a lock. So it's already in a locked box. Now, can people break into that? Sure, but people can break into a lock.
Break into your house.
Yeah, they can break into a safe if they really want to. They can bring a stick of dynamite, whatever, and try to get into it. So, I mean, I understand it on one hand. We do want to be responsible. We don't want people to just be able to access our weapons. But I think that having a truck gun is very important, and I think that having some responsibility with it, making sure that you are keeping your weapons to where they're in a safe spot in your car, because obviously people ride with me in my truck pretty often. You know, I don't want to just have weapons just sitting out of nowhere, and that's not the case. If you want to get to the lever action in the back, you have to literally lift up the back seat, and then I have it not only under the back seat, it's hidden at the very back.
Now everybody knows where it is.
It is. Now it's not so much hidden anymore, is it? But then under the center console, so I have a bench seat truck in the front. So I don't have the middle console. That's the big one that like is completely stationary. I basically have a glove box under my glove box because you can lift up the first glove box and it's a bench seat that you can sit 3 in the front. And then under that seat, there's another storage compartment. And that's where it's a perfect spot to keep your truck gun that's going to be sitting up front with you. Your passenger princess, as some of those YouTubers say, your passenger's princess. But the Ram, I will say that what I like most probably about the Ram, and this is in the 1500s and the 2500s. I have a 2500. The storage compartments that you get in there is awesome. I'm sure that other trucks have cool storage compartments, but what's really cool about Rams is under the back like floorboards, under the mats. If you lift up the mat, there's this little plug you pull, and then you have these compartments that are pretty deep, and those are perfect whenever you're ready to store some mags, some ammo. I just keep mags in there because you can actually pull the entire bin out of there.
Yep.
So if you're having a range day, you're shooting outside, whatever you're shooting from the tailgate, you just pull those out of there. You can set them on the tailgate. You already have your mags loaded. You already have your boxes of ammo, whatever. So Ram is a pretty good truck whenever it comes to already built-in storage compartments. And I think that a lot of that, you know, they're kind of in the same family, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep. So Jeep has a lot of cool storage compartments as well. So that's what I'll say about the truck. I mean, we're just talking about truck tactics for a second. So you go ahead and speak your piece on that.
Well, so when you said truck, it heightened my senses a little bit. It's so important. Again, you know, teaching this stuff. I said the last episode, mid-level is where I consider myself. Trained a lot of people. The things that we train to, I think the single most important thing that we train to is realistically is rated R for reality. And we will literally teach breathing through our entire course. How to breathe while you're moving, how to breathe while you're moving, how to breathe while you're loading, how to breathe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And people are like, why do you do that? Well, for the same reason that you do it in self-defense, for the same reason anywhere else, because you'll vago out, you'll hold your breath, you'll panic, a lot of things will happen. Bad juju happens in front of you, you react to it, you grab your breath, and you hold it, and the next thing you know, you close off and your senses start shutting down, and all the things you need to be doing, you stop doing. And we've given multiple scenarios and multiple podcasts over multiple bad situations and, you know, horrific domestic terrorist situations where people just froze and didn't move. So when we train to reality. And for me, I think I said in the last episode, I tend to run 9 on everything, and I replicate for convenience for mags. So I run multiple Hellcat Pros, be it on my person, be it in my truck, be it in my home, on the range, whatever it may be. I'll adjust here and there. Like clearly there's a Tactical Elite, but I'm still running a 9 on it. I do that for simplicity of mags, interchangeables, whatever it may be. So
I don't think that you showed your carry last time. Why don't you show your carry, anybody who's watching, so they can see?
Well, it's essentially the same as that Hellcat Pro over there. That one just happens to have a threaded barrel on it.
Yeah, you didn't show that one
with
either.
a little bit of a flash suppressor at the end, and I just use that for night shooting. Is all I really do. It's the exact same gun. But you know what am I running here? 14+1.
That's awesome.
You know, so in a capacity, I'm never running less than that, and then that one is punching all the way up. I believe it's 18-1 or 17-1, something like that. It's my go-to. Backstrap works for me. And I feel like I'm picking up the same thing and I'm trained to it all the time. Like I just know it.
Yeah.
So I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to tactics. I use what works. I know there's a lot of guys that have gazillions of guns and they're very good on all of them and they shoot all the time. I actually practice movements 95% of the time and I shoot 5% of the time, and I get a lot of grief for that. But again, I look for a 12/18 window because on a human being at movement, being able to punch paper, I've said this before a gazillion times, I will take a guy that will punch paper and punch paper well. I'm talking one ragged hole, 15 yards, weak hand, strong hand, really good shooters. Really proficient shooters. And then I'll have them go run around the building and come back in. And half the time they have a hard time finding the target. They don't realize how important breathing is. So the one thing I learned in law enforcement is when you're in those scraps out there, I think I mentioned before, 4 legitimate knockdown, gonna die fights in law enforcement, probably, I don't know, 100, 150, 200 scraps trying to arrest people. They're resisting, they're punching at you or kicking at you, but the kind of thing where you can get hurt but you're not going to die, but you can get tired quickly. And that is, for me, that is the one thing that we concentrate on. And then when you carry that over into a vehicle, it's proven over and over and over that when you start getting into one of those threat situations, maybe it's a roadway deal, whatever. First of all, if you're a dude, your brain shuts off and you do dumb things. So that's why I always say the best way to win a fight is just not get into one. That counts for the road too. Like, let that go. You don't know that guy going by you doing something. Now, that guy goes by you, cuts you off on the roadway, slams on the brake, pulls out a gun, starts firing at you, and is staying with you. He's not just firing random. Totally different deal. You got a right to defend yourself to the death. But if you just got some yin-yang out there, I had some guy pass me actually the other day in a car going a gazillion miles an hour, almost took off the front end of my vehicle. I could have chased him down and done what? So that's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about situations where things go completely sideways, 2, 3, 4 seconds on the high side to be able to get to your weapon on a decent sight picture while moving potentially and or coming to a stop, depending on the scenario. And you really need to know how both of those work. I saw a video once, and I will never, unless it's just an egregious act of something where somebody's rights are so beyond violated or it's so stupid, I will always be pro law enforcement, but I will sit down because I would expect somebody to do it for me. I mean, this isn't me saying I'm an expert and somebody's doing it wrong, but I've seen some videos where cops, you'll see these shootout situations on the roadway. I don't know if you've ever seen any of these, but there's a couple of them that are pretty notable. And this guy is going down the street and he's steering with his knee, punching holes through the window, shooting at a car in front of him that could be 150 to 200 feet ahead of him. And he's mag dumping this thing like bam, 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 bam.
Was this a cop?
Yeah. And the video later shows, he hit his window every time, his window. And the suspect window, I think it had 2 rounds that hit the car out of like 35 shots. So where did the 33 shots go to? Stuff like that. That always freaks me out a little bit. I believe in CQB as far as vehicle-to-vehicle tactics. I really mean that the same way I would handle it in a room. Like I want to be like bumper on bumper.
Yeah, let me ask something that
proximity.
You probably have some knowledge on that I don't really have.
I have limited.
Most standard issue police vehicles.
Yeah.
Any bulletproofing at all?
As far as issue, no. Not that I'm aware of, unless something has changed in the last couple of years. I'd have to ask Weekly when we have him on the show. You can up armor. I don't know that you can up armor through Ford. You can up armor through,
obviously like the SWAT
countries.
vehicles, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. If you're
but
running
regular
an MRAP,
standard issue, just a patrol vehicle.
It's a Ford Explorer, man. It's a Dodge Durango.
Straight up, pretty
it's
much
a Dodge
civilian
Charger.
grade,
Unless
whatever.
they're running, I forget the company, I think True Armor or whatever it's called, where they do the one-way laminate. Have you ever seen that? It's actually pretty cool. Buddy of mine started it back in the day, and then he sold the company for like $1 gazillion. But it's essentially a laminate that will stop small caliber. I think they go all the way up to 223 now rounds from coming in, but you can shoot out.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'll show you. We'll put a video
It's like
up
a
on
force field.
It
Man.
is like
it's
a force field.
sci-fi stuff. What?
It's super cool. We'll pull a video and put it up, and we'll do a
we'll
reaction video too.
Okay.
It's really cool. It works great, like on government buildings, schools. It's super expensive is the problem. You won't be able to Google the video. I've actually got the video of the training video. I just don't have it with me of the training video that we actually shot over at DCF Guns.
Yeah.
About 5 or 6
So
years
there's no
ago.
YouTube on this or anything?
You can look. I don't think so. There might be. But I've got the video that actually my son shot over the shoulder of everybody that was shooting. We had the
What's it
sheriff
called?
there. It was called True Armor. So it's essentially, again, it's a one-way laminate. It will stop small caliber gunfire from coming in. The whole goal is he wanted to get it on all law enforcement vehicles nationwide and then military vehicles overseas. I don't know who he sold it to. So if you're not seeing it pop up, True Armor laminate, then I'll find out. But I've got the original one and we can showcase that. So anyway, to answer your question, no, I don't think so. I think you can ship vehicles out and they can throw panels in the door and laminates on glass and that kind of stuff. But
yeah, and I mean, the video you were referencing with the guy just mag dumping through the windshield, I mean,
that's factory glass.
I'm sure he probably wouldn't. He'd be probably smart enough. At least most officers would probably be smart enough not to be just mag dumping through something that they know is supposed to be effectively bulletproof. But
Yeah, no, he's shooting it through straightforward glass. My point is he's magnum. So he's got there's no real tactics in it. He's
just Magnum. I mean, that sounds a little irresponsible.
and it's in an environment where you have buildings and other things. I mean, stuff like that I hate to see because it's just dangerous. Now, there's another one where there's a dude out on like a Utah freeway in the middle of nothing, like headed to Moab, where it's like 40 miles between exits with nothing but dirt around you. And he's getting fired on, and he's taking a 223 and he's pushing it out the window, and he actually takes the vehicle down. I mean, he does a good job with it. So, I mean, there's wins and failures in this stuff. Definitely. Part of the reason we talk about truck guns, car guns, vehicle guns, but truck guns in our world, it's that 3 seconds if you need it.
What do you keep in your truck? What do you keep in your truck?
I keep a backup Hellcat Pro.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I've got one in person and an extra one. And 20,
and then your Persuader.
20 mags, my Buford stick, 20 mags ish. I mean, look
20 mags.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you're ever I look at it like this: if you get pinned down, worst case scenario, you get pinned down. Conserve ammo. You know, it's what we say in JITS. You know, train hard, fight easy.
Yeah.
Same principle here. You know, train hard and rugged so that when you're in the fight, that you're conserving and you're breathing. And you know, I'm talking about something where you're legitimately potentially pinned down, like you got a real problem.
Makes sense.
I've never seen anything like that here in America. In Juarez, that might be a daily event down there.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're seeing that kind of stuff. Gangbanger stuff is pretty quick. The average gunfight is 10 feet, 10 seconds or less. The average car fight, gunfire thing, I don't know that there's even a stat on it nationally. In my law enforcement days, I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that I've seen gunfire come from one vehicle to another, law enforcement related. Where I got all my training was originally Blackwater. So way back in 3, 4, I was a TAC medic at the time, going into law enforcement, and that's when they were sending tons of private contractor stuff overseas. I signed up for them, was doing a bunch of training, and then at the last second, I found out I got to get 13. I think I shared that with you. I had to get like 13 shots because of where I was going, and I'm like, pound sand on that. I'm not putting that crap in my body. So I was going to look at staying stateside, working some things over here, and then I just ended up not doing it. But I went through a crap ton of training. So we were doing a lot of shooting from moving vehicles. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I learned a lot. And then in SWAT, we did a fair amount of it too. And then on the private side, I've probably punched 500 windows, I guess, at this point in time. So I don't have a lot of experience in it. I've got some.
That sounds like a lot of experience.
Yeah, it's me demonstrating 12 to 15 rounds per class, and then somebody, each student doing it, and then we critique and hot wash it each time. So it's not a ton, and you're doing it at short. I mean, keep in mind we're probably doing this at 7 yards, 5 to 7 yards. We're talking just past the front end of the vehicle, because you don't want to be, in my world, I wouldn't want to be handing a Springfield Hellcat 9mm to somebody taking 50-yard shots out of the vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're doing suppression fire to get away or something, I can't even imagine why you would be doing that.
Well, let's talk about why it even makes sense to shoot through the windshield, because for a lot of people listening, and some people who maybe don't have the experience, and even some people with the experience, I'm sure that you can kind of sit there and kind of scratch your head like, well, why wouldn't you just roll down the window, or why wouldn't you just try to get out and then shoot? Well, here's the problem, and this is very, very important. Cars are not bulletproof. And I mean, we already talked about that. We already talked about even police standard issue.
We'll talk about cover and concealment to explain why.
So most of cover is going to be what is relatively, you can count on being mostly bulletproof. Concealment is just, well, they can't really see where you're at, so they don't really know where to aim.
Right.
So most instructors are going to say that cars are good for concealment, horrible for cover. Here's the thing, though. If you're pinned down and somebody's firing at you, because let's just take your scenario for a second. Somebody cuts you off, got in front of you, slams the brakes, slows you down. Number one, I think that the play is, if that happens as soon as they get out, you try to pull around them. If you absolutely can, you use your vehicle. You get out of dodge.
That's why I have a gas pedal.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that is something that needs to be highlighted, because that's what's super important. Now, there can be different scenarios. I mean, they literally slow down to the point that you run into them, and then you're just slamming on your brakes at this point, and they get out. Maybe you haven't had time. Well, if the car's still running and you have the opportunity to just drive and get out of dodge, drive and get out of dodge. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're pinned down and somebody's in front of you, the use case for shooting through the windshields is, well, the most bulletproof part of the car, if there is going to be anything that is almost bulletproof, is going to be that engine block.
Yeah.
And so if you are facing the threat and they're shooting at you, you ducking, you've got as much cover as you can hope for.
Heck yeah.
Right there.
I'm down with that.
Right? Makes sense,
I'm
right?
not going to sit upright and stare at them if they're shooting at me. If I can get low, but yeah.
But you
And
don't want to just sit there and keep taking rounds. So eventually it makes sense to get up and start shooting through your windshield back at the threat. Right. And hopefully they just tuck tail and they run out of there and they're gone.
Well, there's a couple things to throw out in that, and I'm so glad we're doing tactics a part 2, because this was so much fun on our first episode and sharing, and we can get into ultimate weapons and long range stuff and bring other guys in that Brian and others that just competition shooters for the military, incredible dudes. I'm a simple guy. I'm a mid-level guy, but I'm rated R for realistic. So I'm going to train martial arts, striking, how to take a punch, jiu-jitsu, what to do on the ground. I'm learning that right now, having a ball. CQB stuff, close quarter, just is my world. Not because I'm amazing at it, just because I think that's the most important thing that you're ever going to face in reality. Dude, if I got somebody popping rounds from, let's go back to the Vegas thing for just a second. That guy prepped for weeks, prepped for days, loading it out, had hotel staff bring stuff up, picked the corner, knew the concert, knew the time frame, shot hundreds of people, killed what, 50?
You're talking about the shooting with the guy who had the bump stock from the hotel shooting into the crowd.
Yeah, he's like 14, 15 rounds up at a concert, just fishing a bull, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that. I mean, outside of some capability of return fire with a pistol, what are you going to do? I mean, this guy was 400 feet away, 450 feet away. That is a different scenario. I read things online where people are like, well, if I had a gun, you would have done nothing. You would have done absolutely nothing. The likelihood of you hitting a different window with a pistol at that distance into somebody else's hotel room is just as likely as you hitting that guy's window.
Unless you're Pew View from YouTube. Have you seen that guy?
No.
Oh, dude, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just watched a video the other day of him shooting 400 yards.
With a pistol?
With a platypus. You know what a platypus is?
No, I've never even heard of a platypus.
So this company called Stealth Arms, they have a hybrid between like a 2011 and a Glock. It's really crazy. They're really cool. They're relatively affordable. I mean, based on what you normally pay for a high-end 2011. They're like all the rage right now. You can buy them online. They're totally custom. Everyone, you can customize whatever colors you want, any parts you want, slides you want. But they take Glock mags, but they're pretty much 2011. And
that tells you how when I say I'm mid-level and I'm not a gun, like my brother would tell you everything about that gun right now. He would literally have the dynamics, the specs. I operate in a world that's close. I do it on purpose. I'm sure most of it was from my career, because everything that you're doing is hand to hand 99% of the time.
Makes sense.
I don't ever walk into a domestic at 150 feet. You're going into somebody's house. When I was undercover, I mean, I'm in the room with the dudes that are banging. When you're fugitive hunting, the longest distance that I'm dealing with somebody in law enforcement for the most part is if you have a barricaded dude and you're on Overwatch as the sniper. That's the greatest distance that you're probably going to be operating at, or if you're in a car chase. But in a car chase, you're not banging rounds if you're 60 car lengths behind the guy in front of you. So if somebody says because you made a point, you said, why would you shoot out of your car? Why wouldn't you just get out? There's a video. We'll look for it today. It's in a city. There's a dude picking up like rocks and a pole. It's a blue. It's a Chrysler, not Pacifica, the smaller one, the little front wheel drive deal. And I think it's a woman in the car, and he is destroying this vehicle with rocks and a pole. She's stuck in traffic. She can't go forward. She can't go backwards, and nobody will move, and it's at a red light. And he bashes in every single window of this vehicle and starts to attack this woman. So when somebody says, when would you shoot out of a car? Right there. In that moment, right there. And he's within 18 inches to 4 feet of this car for 3 minutes straight, beating this car to death. It literally going over and picking stuff up off the side of the roadway and hitting the car, and she can't move. Well, she could. She could have pushed the guy out of the way in front of her. but people are sitting around or not moving. It was just astonishing to watch this video. Well, that's the kind of stuff when somebody says, well, when would that ever happen? Well, right there. That's when it happened. Did
We're
she
gonna
know
look
the
that
guy?
video
No.
up. We're gonna look that video up after this video because this is crazy. I want you to see this. You'll actually like this guy's channel. Watching some of his stuff, he's a very good shooter. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how much he would claim him to himself being a good shooter, but he does a lot of shooting on his page. Obviously, it's called PewView, but he oh well, we gotta wait 19, 17, 15 seconds for this ad to go by.
Hang on. Is this what's her name again in the jeans?
No.
It's not?
It's not. This is a different one.
Oh, dream on.
And
I thought we were going into somebody had great jeans again.
I was on cloud. I don't know. Why aren't they going after that one?
I don't know.
So here we go. So this is a So the whole premise of this video was how lethal is a handgun at 400 yards, right? So he was going to try to shoot it into the ballistic head. I don't think he actually ended up making the shot to the ballistic head, but he is 400 yards out, and you can hear him plinking the plate from 400 yards several times
With a pistol.
with a pistol. And watch, I'll turn it up.
Can you see that on camera? Can you zoom into that?
You can see how far away they are from that
I don't think
stand.
I've ever made a 400-yard shot with. I don't think I've ever attempted a 400-yard shot with a pistol.
Holy, I'm gonna miss. I might as well make.
He's one-handing it?
You ready?
Watch, you'll hear the ding. You hear that?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah. Strong.
one hand.
Well,
at
I don't
400 yards.
Yeah, that's.
See, you hear that? It's
Yeah.
hidden. Like he misses some, obviously,
Yeah.
but he was hidden. So that's pretty crazy. That was just immediately whenever you said, "Yeah, you're not going to do anything." Well, not unless you're PewView.
The question. Well,
With a
and
platypus.
I've never even tried it, so that's super impressive. I'm wondering now. I'm wondering if it would do anything now.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that he would have been able to get it into the ballistic gel from that
Yeah.
far. He didn't in that video. It'd be cool for him to just do it again, just keep on sending it until it happens. But he didn't do that. I think he kind of just gave up after a good few shots.
So, truck weapons.
What was the video that? What am I looking up? What do I search?
It's a guy. I don't even know what to call it. I just tripped over it one night. It's a guy beating a car in traffic with like rocks and a pole. The reason it was the Chrysler LP Cruiser. That's what I was thinking of, the Cruiser thing. And they're just sitting there. Like it's crazy to watch this thing. So people say, when would it happen? Well, something like this, that particular video where this guy's just picking stuff up and beating this car. He's in a rage. I don't know why. I don't even know what started it. I don't think this lady ever knew who he was. He just kind of came out into traffic and picked her. She was a victim. He picked the easiest target he could find. So I guess I'll go backwards for just a second. So I carry a couple of Hellcat Pros, about 20 mags. The likelihood of ever needing that many, slim to none, but I'll never assume that Slim is on vacation.
Does any of these look familiar?
The one... No. It's a blue PT Cruiser. They're sitting at an intersection. Like that was the most notable thing is they were stuck in traffic. It wasn't a road rage thing. It was literally a dude walks off of the sidewalk and just starts demolishing this car. It's a justifiable shoot is the point because he breaks just about every window of this vehicle. And
I don't know if we're gonna find it.
that's all right. We'll prep. I'll prep better. I just threw this thing out in the on the fly. So back to our tactics thing. To me, the important thing is know your ability, know your strengths. Don't assume the gun is the answer. I say that in every self-defense class, anything that I'm teaching tactics-wise, any CCW course, dry fire, and move. Learn what that's all about, and then we'll get you out there with some lead, and we'll start throwing it down range, and we'll start working on muscle memories and all of those things. But you train to your abilities, and the guy in Texas, such a great example. The guy in Texas at the church shooting several years ago, where the guy jumped up at the front of the church, he shot a couple people, he's heading towards the pastor, and the director of security over all the pews, over all the heads of all the people, takes a headshot. I want to say it was like at 75 or 80 feet. headshot while the guy was running and drops the guy. The shooter, or I mean the security dude, I don't think he ever moved. I think he just came up, got sight picture, hit the guy. When they show him being interviewed, I guarantee you right now that guy couldn't have run around the building and made that shot. He was not in physical shape, but he was a heck of a shot. And you could clearly tell that this guy had trained a lot, and he was a firearms instructor and taught people how to shoot people on the move. Whether he's ever shot anybody himself while moving is a different story. So I'm a big believer that know your vehicle. I mean, like, here's something super important. I get this all the time. People say, well, why don't you just run the guy over with your vehicle? I might. But I would run him over very, very slowly and then accelerate. And the reason why is I don't want to send off the airbags in my vehicle and install out my vehicle. And now I'm stuck.
Yep.
And people are like, well, it's a body. And I'm like, oh, really? I hate to be sarcastic, but let me pull up a video of the state trooper that has the guy that runs down on the freeway on I-70 up here about 2 years ago, running from the cops. Look at the vehicle after this guy got smoked on the freeway going 70 miles an hour. Dude, when I say it totaled the vehicle, it looked like a semi hit it.
Yeah.
It was a human body at 70 miles an hour. So you hit somebody at 15, you're going to set off your airbags is the point. And now all of a sudden you are in a situation, and if your airbags go off, you get blinded. Now you're trying to get to your gun. I mean, there's just so many little factors that I think people don't think of. And when they come to these trainings, we talk about these things and we put them through the paces to help them to understand. And then we eventually get out on land at slow speed, fairly bumpy, set up some targets, and they shoot right out of their vehicle while moving and driving with their knee, as if they're extricating themselves out. So if they got to put a couple rounds downrange at a physical target before they accelerate, don't sit there and get shot at. Like, get out of. But yeah, worst case scenario, if you got to put something, beyond your sight picture, what's out there, is it safe? Are you okay to defend yourself? If you can, shoot and get away. That's kind of the graduation point of it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is as cool and as fun as it is for PewView and other people to really be stretching the legs on handguns, you got to remember that's not what they're designed for. Whenever you're in a real-world application trying to defend yourself, you've got a lot of variables. There can be a lot that goes wrong, even inside of 100 yards. You're going out past 100 yards with a handgun. You're making some decisions that are not very, very responsible, I'd say, especially if you're in any even remotely densely populated area, right? You're talking about people who could drive, step, or otherwise just maybe wind drift, moves the bullet, hit something it's not supposed to.
Trump.
Yeah.
Turn your head at the...
Yeah.
And you take it in the ear?
And that was only a couple hundred yards, right? Only like 200?
No, it was under that.
It was
like $125. I mean, it was something you could have made with iron sights inside of a second and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that he turned his head, I mean, it would come right through his temple.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, so that's living.
But that just shows you exactly that whenever you're shooting that far, man, there's so many variables at play.
Yep.
And especially if you're using a weapon that's not really intentionally designed to stretch its legs that far. You're making some decisions. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a time and a place. I mean, you're pinned down and there's somebody shooting at you and you don't know anything. You may not have any other options. If you're pinned down and you're in cover and you're in a relatively densely populated area, if you're in cover and you're okay, you might be better off to just sit there and they'll tell somebody is able to actually come and take care of the threat that's not you. Now, if you are in a spot and you just see people getting taken out and they're like,
oh, that's different.
People are getting taken out. Like, I mean, the Las Vegas thing, right? People say, well, if I had a gun, I'd have shot it. Well, I agree with you. For most people, you wouldn't have done squat, right? But if you happen to have the right tool, right? Somebody has a truck gun, maybe they've got an AR in their car or whatever, and you got something that's built for the task, then let
me be very clear on that. I said it sarcastically, like you're not going to do anything. I was meaning the guy that was
carrying a P320.
Well, and the P320 is perfectly fine at that distance behind cover.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people sitting at a concert that went through security checkpoints that aren't going to be armed. And some guy said, well, if I had a gun, I'm like, first of all, you're not going to have a gun there. Now, if you were walking down the street and you had a gun and that was going off, because it was right in the middle of Vegas, right? Yeah. Get behind cover and send some rounds up that guy's way. By all means.
But I mean, even that is
still
definitely
a tough
risky.
Shot.
I mean, you're talking about this guy shooting out of a hotel. So you're talking about anything goes wrong, you shoot into the wrong window. Who knows what could be behind those
and you could be
windows.
living with that for the rest of your life. So, if you are, again, the Texas guy, very, very confident. If you've ever seen that video,
I think so.
it is a really good video because they caught
We
it
should
live.
pull it up. We should pull it up since we couldn't find the other one.
He literally shoots the guy over the top of the crowd. Had somebody stood up, he wouldn't have had a clear shot. And that also goes to show paralysis by analysis, because those people were sitting there watching this guy shoot and nobody was moving or doing anything. Or a couple people were, but the vast majority of the crowd was frozen. But that the security director or the whatever he was, range instructor, I forget his title. I know he was an instructor of some sort. Whether he was on the security team or not, I'm second guessing, but I'm guessing he was. Of course, everybody carries in Texas, but that shot was a good shot. At that distance on the move, you're shooting at a cantaloupe, and that's a pretty good shot, especially when a guy's bouncing up and down while he's running, holding good sight picture forward. That's a clean shot in my opinion.
Is this one?
Yeah,
that's the one. All right.
Yeah. Now, whether or not the nightly news shows the shooting is a different story.
Yeah,
because this is just if you have it on YouTube, straight up, it might be better. But I tell people when we train, come with an expectation to meet the limit of your ability, not that you're going to come in and become a superhero. That's terrifying to me when I get folks like that. I try to talk them out of it. Like, let's really get into reality. So what you have laying on the table before you on this podcast is pretty much what I'm going to carry, what Jared's going to carry, outside of our truck weapons. And again, for me, I'm just running a series of Hellcat Pros.
This must be different. This is not it.
Might be a recreation. I bet that's a recreation video.
No, this is a different one, I think. Yeah, because they're not even in the sanctuary. They're in the lobby.
Oh. Anyway, so we'll load these things up ahead of time when we're doing our topics.
Yeah, we
moving
should.
forth, because that.
Here we go.
Yeah,
That's it right there.
Yeah, that's him.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So notice, watch this. Is this on the news?
It is.
Notice how people are getting down, but nobody's really doing anything.
Yeah. Wow.
This is just, and this happens all in a second.
Right. That's the truth.
Just all in a second. And, people say dial 911.
I mean, look now.
Like,
Look, everybody's got their guns out now.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as they saw the guy go.
I remember when this first happened, that there was somebody who was basically like breaking down the tactics and talking about and breaking it down like, oh, this guy did a good job. And he's like, all these other people. I think he was talking about like a couple different instances of where they got flagged a little bit, whatever. But definitely a lot to consider in these situations, because you want to know your target and you want to know what's beyond your target. You want to know what's around your target. You have to have the training, the ability to make sure that once you're ready to pull that trigger, you're confident you know where that bullet's going.
Yeah.
Well,
you got a piece of metal going 1,500 to 2,300 feet per second on average. A piece of metal.
Yeah.
You miss by a quarter inch, and whatever's behind it, that's what it's going to hit. Be it a tree, a wall, a human being. And that's why I'm just not a big. I probably talk 40% of prospective clients out of carrying. 40%. They're like, man, you're just throwing away money. No, I'm not. I'm throwing away liability is what I'm doing. I don't want to get sued. I don't want somebody to come back and say, well, Micah trained me, and and I knew from 8 seconds in that there's no way this person should be carrying. Now, do they have a Second Amendment afforded to them to carry? Yeah, by all means. Operate within the confines of the Bill of Rights that have been given to you by our forefathers. I am 100% behind you. I'm just not going to train you if you're dangerous or you can't breathe or you can't figure out a difference between attack reload and a combat reload, or if you're constantly putting the magazine in the wrong gun. I mean, there's just so many goofy things that we see out on the range. And then we see a lot of really amazing things. And I only train people that want it. I don't train people that are curious. I will go out and test drive somebody that's curious. And not because I'm an expert in it, but because I've done enough just to be able to see it. And I usually bring somebody with me to make sure. At the end of the day, if you're going to carry, here's what I say. Know your gun, know your abilities. Because if you don't know either one, that's like carrying the Bible and not reading it and claiming to be what?
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't work.
C-nos.
It doesn't work.
You heard
that way.
that? You heard
Oh
that?
yeah.
Rhinos, well,
Rhinos and
C-nos.
C-nos. Yeah.
Christian in name only.
Yeah, it does not work. And you might get lucky, but I would not base my future out of jail or in jail or my mortgage payment on luck.
Yeah.
That is a really bad combination to just assume that things are going to go fine. And again, I'll say this. I have seen amazing guys that would outshoot me any day of the week that ends in day on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Get that move going.
Yep.
Totally different deal.
As soon as you got to take a couple steps, make a couple other decisions, right? As soon as it's not stationary and not static anymore, everything changes.
Dude, we could do a lot of law enforcement stories. Things that I personally witnessed, things that I've seen on tape, things that I've had to train to. I can tell you one very quick story. Guy goes to arrest somebody in my department. He says, "Go ahead and send me back up." The guy's starting to resist a little bit. This is something that comes over the radio, by the way, in the agency I was in that was active numerous times a day. Not twice a day. 10, 12, 15, 30 times a day, depending on district, Friday night versus Wednesday mornings. But outside of that, I mean, I'm saying every day this happened. Guy gets on the radio, send me back up, because it was a warrant, and it was a felony warrant. So unit says I'm in route, two out. 120 seconds. 10 seconds later, 10:33. Now, in where we were at, we use 10 codes in South Carolina. 1078 is I need assistance. 1033 is I'm dying. I was in law enforcement for 6 years there before I moved here to Colorado. A couple hundred car chases, foot chases. I heard 1033 3 times in my career. 3 times down there in South Carolina. 2 times that they were dying. This one, the guy said 1033 was it. I'm saying the guy said, I'm 2 out, and 10 to 15 seconds goes by, and he says 1033. So I don't know what happened in that 10 to 15 seconds, but it went from 0 to holy crap in his mind. First unit gets on scene. It was about maybe 90 seconds, and he gets on and says, send backup. So now there's a backup unit that is there. He gets out, and I'm the third guy on scene. I'm working fugitive undercover. I break my detail because we were just watching a house. We had 3 different angles on it. So I broke detail with 2 other guys because it was 10:33. It's like, we go, period. Doesn't matter what we're watching. This is more important. I'm third guy on scene. I get out of the car, and the trooper that had pulled him over was beat half to death.
Wow.
On this ground, 100% KO'd. He's out cold. The deputy in our department has got the guy. He's kind of half bear hugging him and half rear naked choking him. He's kind of in an awkward. He's like under his armpit, but around his neck, and he's holding on to him. Mm-hmm. And this guy is a behemoth. He is 6'7", probably 300 fat, but he's a big guy. And this deputy was doing nothing. He was just holding on for the ride. And the guy was grabbing his gun that was in his holster. So he's trying to then hold on to his neck while pushing the gun down to keep it in the holster. And I came up from behind and just immediate pressure point control tactics right behind the ear, just drove my thumb in like I was going to push it out the front of his eye. And the guy goes, thump, and passes out on the ground like that, like 2 seconds. So we taught a lot of pressure point control tactics after that. We didn't have body cameras, and the in-car camera of the trooper's car doesn't catch it because the fight happens outside, but there was an eyewitness that saw it that said that when the trooper went to arrest him, he grabbed the guy's wrist, got one cuff on, and the guy did a full 180 turnaround and punched him in the face. He knocked him out on the first blow. But he had already been hollering for backup as he was trying to handcuff him. And then he just got on the ground and just beat this guy half to death.
Man.
Beat him half to death. That's how fast it happens. I mean, this thing was over in 2 seconds.
So was there was
no gun would have helped.
There was another guy there that obviously must have called in the 1033, right?
The 1033 came from the trooper. So he He literally puts handcuffs on the guy, and the guy turns and jacks him. I mean, just throttles him. And that's when as he's going to the ground, he says 1033. He literally.
Oh, so that was like on a.
So he's right here. Yeah.
Okay.
We called them pack sets back in the day, and he's got a walkie right here that you can squeeze.
Yeah.
And as he's getting hit, according to the eyewitness, now she never heard the 1033. We heard the 1030, but the 1030, it went from send me back up to he screams while he sounds like he's going out of breath. You can hear him literally get 1033, and he's out.
Whoa.
Like that. And it's a heart stopper when you're in law enforcement, because it is the only code we use for I'm going to die. And he just knew to say it in that moment. And it is crazy because there was never a gun involved. No, people say, well, why don't you get gun? Dude, unless he pulled it before he was arresting the guy, which would make no sense. Now you got a gun in you where you can tell the guy to cuff himself. People just don't understand that stuff. So,
and the arrest controls, from what I understand, unfortunately, probably in I'm sure that there's some states that are way more lenient and allow more, but I know that, especially from what I've heard in Colorado, a lot of the arrest control protocols that they're putting in place are just making it harder and harder for law enforcement.
Well, that's because we have a governor who's never arrested anybody, and he just is what a man. The things I could say about this guy, what he's doing. So it is so dangerous.
One of the students that is an officer, he said that they're not allowed to apply chokeholds at all.
Yeah, not anymore.
I understand that on one degree. If you're talking about people who are not trained,
sure,
but that only brings up again the importance of training.
The George Floyd thing.
If you know how to apply a stranglehold, if you know how to apply a rear naked choke, one of the best ways to get somebody under control. And whenever you know when to let go,
right, you could sit there and control the person forever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like the pressure point tactic you just now said. I mean, people can argue all they want. Well, what if they go out and then they start convulsing? What if they go out and they choke on their own spit or whatever? Well, you're still most likely protecting the officer. You're probably protecting them from hurting themselves or even getting themselves in worse trouble for continuing to resist arrest and maybe even go for a gun like this guy. I mean, I get it. There's retention holsters. He didn't sound like he got it out, but
he was lifting this guy up.
You go for an officer's gun, they can put you down.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. They're justified to do that. So
it's called +1 in law enforcement. So it's soft empty hand to hard hand to baton or spray or taser, weapon to deadly weapon. That's the force continuum, if you will. So you can go from nothing to a weapon. I mean, hands could be a deadly weapon. I mean, I just said it with the trooper. I mean, he got
in your opinion, in this
launched.
instance, whenever this guy actually makes the physical effort, he's touching this officer's gun, trying to pull it out, is there just causes? Is it justified for somebody to put him down at that point?
Yeah, there is, and I'm not big on just waxing people for the sake of waxing people. That's not what this is about. But we're talking about everyday care. We're talking about real life. I brought law enforcement into it because a lot of my training came from scenario-based law enforcement stuff, not law enforcement where we were trained something. I'm talking about training on the street, like when you're out and you're going to subdue somebody. Well, this is no different than if you're the guy and gal in Cincinnati got the ever-living crap kicked out of them by the crowd. Like, you got to know what to do. You just think, well, I'm just going to pull a gun or I'm going to do. Well, it just doesn't. It doesn't always work that way. And the reality behind law enforcement stuff, to your point, could you control somebody? Well, you can. As a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you could teach law enforcement all day long. I could teach them all day long how to do this stuff. To me, it's always about measuring what it is that you're dealing with. I mean, we should have had Ralph come up here and talk about it because he's a hoss, right? I mean, look at him. Guy is ripped. He's strong. He is super chill. He's a de-escalator. I bet that guy never has a problem because he's very good at de-escalation. So much in law enforcement that I've seen, and we can talk to the sheriff when he's on the show about this, is training. He is huge right now on training and physical fitness for Douglas County. Like, since he's become sheriff, he's like, look, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And it's important. Joe Rogan has talked about this. I watched that episode. He's like, look how fat this cop is. And it's like, yeah, it's terrible. And the truth of the matter is, and I hate to say it because I love my profession, but the profession is what does it to you. You go all the time. You very seldom have any kind of break to do anything. You eat in the car. You're just jamming nonstop. And it's just shift after shift after shift. And bad cardio, too much stuff. Now, there's a lot of cops take care of themselves. There's a lot that aren't. But it's kind of like the EMS world in medicing. It's the same thing. I had a lot of people that just were never healthy. And you would think that you would see that. So I think you're going to see a pendulum swing, especially with what's happening in society. And I don't want to arbitrate those too far, but I think you're going to see a pendulum swing. We're going to see some changes. I think you're going to see standards change in a lot of things that are probably long overdue. That being said, in the real world, Ma and Pa, Texas church shooting, things like that, this kind of stuff happens like that. You got to know what to do. Dialing 911 may or may not be an option.
Yeah.
Have a game plan. Know how to function with your weapon. Set yourself up for failures, stovepipes, and double feeds and all this stuff so that you know when it happens what you're going to do. Yeah. I mean, in the truck, if I double feed one gun, I'm just going to the backup gun before. I'm not going to sit there and play with the gun. I'll deal with the double feed at another time. That's why I have two of the same gun so that I can run multiple magazines. And the chance of double feeding two, pretty slim, right? So double feeds happen. How does the most often double feed happen? Well, usually chambering the gun. Well, if it's chambered, then I don't have to worry about it. But if I'm carrying unchambered for some reason, if there's a reason, maybe I'm carrying appendix and I just don't like carrying chambered and I chamber on the draw, you do it fast and you miss, or your hands are slow. It's just anything can happen, bad feed, whatever. So got to know your gun, got to know your abilities, got to know how to clear them, and you got to know how to get to concealment cover while you're doing it. And that is 95% of what we train on when we teach this stuff, be it cop stuff, be it everyday carry people. That's what you're going to go through with us. I can send you to a range to punch paper all day long. That's not what we're about. And I really put a lot of emphasis on that because I want to keep you alive. You want to keep your family alive. You want to keep yourself alive. You might be Jane and I'll give you a super great example. Jane and I were walking down in Columbia, South Carolina at a Hootie and the Blowfish concert outdoor. That's where they're from. So they gave a free concert. They're in Columbia. I mean, this is out in front of the State House. There's 25,000 people. We're walking down the street and I said, Jane, I really don't want to be down here. I've been working fugitive undercover. Don't want to be down here. A lot of people. And I turned the corner, two dudes staring at me, just looking at me 15 feet away. Jane is with me. Now, fortunately, there was a lot of people there and there's law enforcement. Two dudes that I had arrested down at the concert. And it was just that fast. And it went from zero to holy crap, here we go. Fortunately, I could handle myself. I could take care of it. But it was just one of those things where you just never know. And even in the cop world, you just never know.
Yeah.
You got to be set.
Man.
I talked a while, sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. We're definitely covering a lot of tactics, which is good. Carrying with some intent is very important to talk about because, I mean, we're carrying to be able to protect ourselves and protect those around us if the need arises. But you and I are both on the same vein constantly. The fight that nobody loses is the fight that doesn't happen. Yeah, right.
Stay away from it.
We're always going to try to de-escalate first and foremost. We're going to try to give people every opportunity to, cool off and make a good decision. But at the end of the day, sometimes the world we're living in, you got to be ready. And sometimes that means having a weapon, being ready to draw it, being ready to use it. And that means being ready to use it with the responsibility, with the comfort, the confidence that only comes by training. Mm-hmm. And it's having these conversations that hopefully more people can glean from to think about it. Man, I really have only ever shot my gun at a range where I'm just shooting paper, right? Well, find somewhere where you can go incorporate some movement, even if it's just dry fire. Yeah. That's super important. Even if you're just doing some dry fire training and tactics, that is at least getting your foot in the door of knowing what it's actually going to be like. If something happens and you actually have to use your weapon, you're not going to be standing looking down a one-way shooting lane, shooting paper. You're going to have to be ready to move. You're going to have to be ready to go to cover. You're going to have to know the differences between cover and concealment. You're going to want to make sure that if anything goes wrong with your gun, you are confident to be able to do any type of tapping, re-racking, anything that's required to reset your gun. There's all kinds of different variables, but that only gets trained if it gets trained. And the only way to really train it all full circle is to go somewhere where you're able to train. And normally that's going to be with people who are actually able to give you hands-on training that have the experience.
Do you know how to do a tactical reload at 75 miles an hour while driving with your knee? Do you know how to do it?
I would imagine that I think of Zombieland at the end where Woody Harrelson's in that little concession stand and he's got his magazines just popped straight up, and he's just bagged up and then drops them. And but no, driving with your knee, you're gonna just
do you? So it's a trick question.
Oh, it's a trick. You just do a tactical reload.
You do a tactical reload while driving with your knee at 75 mile an hour. That's how you train to do that. So I go down the roadway, down the freeway, and I have an empty gun with 2 empty magazines. Mm-hmm. Put my knee underneath the steering wheel. I reach down, I grab the gun, I bring it up, I have my extra magazine, and I'm doing it with one hand. So I pick it up, drop one into the other hand so that I can control it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And then the difference is how do you do it live? You put ammunition in the gun.
I will say I've never done a tactical reload going 70 miles per hour. You have me beat there, sir. I have not practiced that. Maybe I should practice that.
I don't even know that there's a necessity for it outside of you're in a really bad situation. You fired a couple rounds, you lost count, but you know there's still something in there. It's the whole point of attack reload anyway. But if you've never driven with your knee before, you got to keep the eyes on the roadway. So number one, I'll go.
That's definitely a trick question because if I say yes, then I'm admitting that I was doing other things while driving, right? I was distracted doing something, whether it was, on my phone, eating a burrito, whatever. But I've driven with my knee several times, plenty of times. Probably shouldn't do it as much as I have. But.
I think I threw my training one in the other bag. So anyway, what I'm getting at is you have the reason I'm bringing this up is you got to be able to manipulate your weapon without ever touching. Let me correct that. Without ever looking at it. So if I'm going to do attack reload, I'm keeping my eyes on what the threat is, and I'm reaching down and I'm taking one magazine out and putting the other one in while containing one magazine so that I can pocket
Makes
it.
sense.
If I'm doing a combat reload, I'm just dumping the one magazine because it's empty. I don't need it anymore, at least not in that scenario, and I'm dropping the other one in. But I'm doing it without looking.
Well, let's make sure that because we've said tactical and combat reloads. There's probably a lot of people who are like, "What are you talking about? What's the difference?" So. Combat reload, you're dumping it. It's empty, right?
I've run the magazine dry. I don't need it right now.
You're at slide lock. Unless you're counting rounds and you know exactly where you're at and you're leaving one in the chamber and then you dump it, which, that's some very highly trained. Most people are even highly trained. They're just going to go till slide lock. They dump the mag once it's completely empty and then you do a reload. That's a combat reload.
That's right.
Tactical reload is you've been in an altercation and you've shot a couple rounds. You know it's not empty. But you're going to reload anyways because you want to make sure that you're ready if you need to with a full capacity magazine.
And you got at least one more round in your pocket in a magazine that you know. At least one. Mm-hmm. If you lost count. You have at least one.
Yeah.
That's why you do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But you got to do it without looking. So if you're driving, use your knee, right? I mean, this whole episode, we could go into so many different tactics that are so necessary. People say, well, Michael, where does this going to apply? Well, the PT Cruiser thing I talked about, person sitting in traffic, guy walks up off the street, starts bashing your vehicle with a pole, throwing rocks through your breaks every window. You're sitting inside, can't move. You're going to die. He has demonstrated knowingly, willingly, and intentionally with weapons of choice that he intends to do whatever he's going to do. And I'm not a mind reader, so I'm not going to assume he's just going to break out all my windows while screaming at me, I'm going to kill you on the video. And sit there, right? Especially if I've got somebody with me. Or if it's happening in front of me, I'm like, well, holy cow. So we got to stop that threat. That's one. Two, if I'm out with my wife walking through the concert, right? And now all of a sudden I'm confronted. Well, I'm going to de-escalate. Or I'm going to say, hey, guys, not a good idea. There's a lot of people watching. Or I'm just going to commandeer 10 other people around me and go, hey, let's do what we got to do if this thing's going to go sideways. What I'm not going to do is pull my pistol in the middle of a concert with 20,000 people.
Right.
And go, I'm going to go deal with these guys. Unless they've pulled a gun and their intent is to shoot and kill and there's 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. So now it's force on force. I'm just going to be faster and better. I have to be at that point in time because they're going to kill people. So there's always circumstances that will dictate change that's why we have an OODA loop, right? Observe, orient, decide, act. And it's constantly changing all the time. So you're reorienting to the thing that is happening in front of you. And you may be from, man, I'm just going to walk away and this isn't a problem to you. Wow, this guy's following me. He won't leave me alone. Now I'm trying to verbally de-escalate him. This has all happened in 30 seconds. Now he's pulled a knife on me. Well, that happened to me in Walmart.
Yeah.
At Christmas.
Right.
Inside of that time frame that I just mentioned. Okay, now we're in I've got to elevate this thing up. Somebody dial 911, at least when the cops are out. But here's what's going on. I believe the average person doesn't condition themselves that way or doesn't train that way, or they're afraid to, or they just don't even want to think about it. Like Micah, that's doom and gloom. I don't look at it as doom and gloom. I look at it as you train and prepare for everything you do in life. You don't pick up your phone and not know how to function your phone, and you constantly just make yourself better and figure out how to work your apps and figure out how to get to your email and fill it in. You're doing it on your phone all the time.
Yeah.
I just do it with a knife or a gun, as well as everything else, as well as a vehicle, as well as de-escalation. If you got kids, you are practically trained in de-escalation.
Yeah.
The same thing that you're doing with your kids, you can do in public. You can do that.
I think that out of everything, for anybody listening that's really wondering, well, where to start with getting trained, getting prepared, getting ready on that daily carry, the OODA loop, I love that. That's such an awesome place. Just to put that and visualize that. Observe, orient, decide, act. Because that doesn't mean that you right away go to pulling your gun. It means you observe, orient, decide, act. And it's a loop. You continue to do that. Every situation that you're in, you continue to do that. Observe, orient, decide, act. If you keep on having that process that you go through and you're mentally telling yourself, okay, because even you with this guy in Walmart who pulled this knife, it's not like the first thing you did is you just pull a gun.
No.
You could have.
I didn't even go to the gun.
You could have, but you didn't.
No.
Why? Because you observed, you oriented, you decided, and you acted.
I used a shopping cart.
Very good, exactly. And you know what's so cool about that is that we saw that in this mass stabbing. When a couple episodes ago, we watched the video. We did a little bit of a breakdown on it.
Yep.
And one of the guys has a shopping cart, and he's using that shopping cart to do what? The one thing that we always say in a knife fight. What do you want to do?
Just create space.
Create space.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he did with the shopping cart. And that's what you did a few years ago with your shopping cart. You created space. You had the shopping cart. You know, if this guy lunged at you, you could push the shopping cart, draw your gun if you needed to.
And I told him I was going to. So, but I didn't do it as if you do this, I'm going to one-up you. It wasn't a challenge. I'm like, look, man, it's Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go home to your kids.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Everybody here wants to go home to their family. It's Christmas. What are you doing? And he just kept elevating. And I'm like, look, man, here's the thing. Yeah. You brought a knife to a gunfight, and you don't want to be in that. Uh-huh. And I'm here to tell you right now, if you decide to make that action, you're forcing my hand at this point in time. Mm-hmm. I'm giving you the option to not do this.
Yeah.
You're going to be the one that makes that decision. Don't make that decision. Just don't do that. Uh-huh. That right there to me is the simplest way to let everybody know my intent, but where I stand at the same time. I'm not threatening the guy. I'm telling him straight out, here's what's going to happen if, right?
Right.
That's real world.
And to break that situation down,
that's the OODA.
We got the guys showing up for 11. So we'll wrap this one up here a little bit early in just a second. But to break it down a little bit further, because we can talk about these scenarios, because obviously your scenario and this knife attacker, this guy who pulled a knife in Walmart, it went that way because your observation, your orientation, and then your decision, and then your action was, well, he is threatening, but he hasn't acted, right? He
Correct.
Pulled the knife. He was being menacing,
yeah,
but he had not attacked anybody. The situation would have been completely different if he would have stabbed anybody there.
That's correct.
If he not just you, if he would have stabbed anybody.
Yep.
That would have been completely different.
Totally different.
And if he would have lunged at you right away,
totally
shopping
different.
cart gets pushed straight into his gut, you pull and he's going down, right?
At a bare minimum, I'm using the shopping cart, and if he continues to press the threat, then yeah. I mean, he's got a deadly weapon. So people confuse, when I say OODA, this was developed by a fighter pilot back in the day. We use it all the time. Here's what the everyday person listening to this right now. So if you are the proverbial mom who's tuned into our show, you don't carry a gun, you're like, why in the world does OODA matter to me? Well, you do it when you pick out icing for your cake. You walk into the grocery store, there's 12 different flavors of icing that you're going to make for the birthday cake, and you're like, do I want vanilla cream cheese or cream cheese? Vanilla cream cheese. Ooh, chocolate. That's your OODA. So you're observing something, you're orienting to what is there, you're making a decision, and you start to take an action, and then you reorient to, ooh, I want a different flavor. Then you're making a decision to take that action. So OODA happens all the time.
Yeah.
The place that it happens the most is when you drive.
Makes
Your
sense.
OODA is happening. Just it's click, 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 click. It's happening all the time. Every car, every person, every light, stoplight, crosswalk, all this is even if you're just driving down a 2-lane road, your OODA is going off because you're staying in your lane. You're just making sure you're between the fog line and the double yellow or the dotted line. Car starts coming at you, starts drifting in your lane. You reorient. You're like, holy cow, I got to slow down. Something's happened. Now they're really in your lane. Now you got to make a decision or you're going to die. Your OODA is happening. Wildlife on the side of the roadway that might come out in the roadway, a bicyclist going down the roadway, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So your OODA is happening 24/7 while you're observing things.
Yeah.
And you're just making decisions in the process. So it's not just a tactics thing. It's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely good. And here's the thing, okay? Shooting is fun. It's
Yes.
fun to shoot.
Yes, it
And
is.
if you've never shot, go shoot. And even here's the thing. You talked about some people, maybe carrying's not their thing, right? Maybe carrying's not their thing. Still, a lot of this is applicable to just be prepared. If you're not going to carry, you're not comfortable with carrying, well, maybe you will get comfortable if you go shoot and you have some fun, you enjoy it, and then you get some training. But still, even at the end of the day, there's going to probably be some people who fit in the category of they don't want to carry, they're not comfortable carrying, but they go out and shoot and they love shooting.
Oh,
And it's fun. It's a fun
it
activity.
is.
And I'm saying that to say because we're about to wrap up, but I never even got to show off the show and tell for these toys here.
No, those are
Which is pretty cool.
so cool.
Which is pretty cool. So I've got here, I'll put the camera on me here. I've got here my custom Nighthawk that my wife bought me. This was a
She must
birthday
love
present for me. Well, here's the thing. You want to know what's super cool? I bought hers for her first. So I bought her this Nighthawk with the opal and jade, I believe, grips with this is called a Lady Hawk. And with the rose gold nitrated stuff. And these things are awesome, dude. The slide literally feels like it's on ball bearings. But then after I had bought hers, she bought me mine, surprised me, and she had everything custom nitrated with the gold so that they kind of almost a little bit match, which is pretty cool.
People, for people that don't know guns, and somebody looks at it and goes, "Ooh, it's shiny." That's actually a really, really good gun.
Oh, man.
I mean, as far as shooting,
Oh, yeah.
it's a very good gun. I don't care what stippling you put on it or what rose-colored anything you have on it. That's a very good gun.
And they are fun to
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah.
Fun to shoot.
That
Oh,
is
by the
that's
way,
a good
mine, the grips on it, because they were changed out. If you look up a Nighthawk President, they're really cool. They look cool, but they're all blacked out. So she had the nitrating done, but then because she had the jade and opal grips, she got these, and I really like how this is mammoth ivory. The grips on this gun is mammoth ivory, and what's really cool is that they have these little highlights that kind of go really well with the gold nitrate, which is pretty cool.
My daughter, who graduated from the United States Naval Academy, class of 2024, over in Japan right now, who's not listening to the podcast, by the way, today. Love you, honey. She already knows this is coming, so I'm not giving away any secrets. I'm actually having a United States Naval Academy gun made.
That's awesome.
Fully, the whole works. I'm doing, everything, etching, the whole 9 yards. Now it'll be a collectible. She might fire it a couple times, but it's going to be one of those things you put like up on a display case kind of deal. Super proud of what she accomplished, but that's one of those things. It's going to be coming in the mail here soon, and then
That's
I'm going to be
awesome.
taking it down to the engraver. So she loves to shoot. I love my baby girl. This is the gift that Dad always wanted to give. It's taken almost a year to get it made.
Wow.
From graduation. Yeah, it's all.
Which company is this coming from?
100%.
What
It's
is
a
this?
buddy of mine who does 100% custom work.
Whoa.
That's why I said we got to get.
Is it in 1911 or what?
Yeah, it's 1911.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're going old school. So I mentioned Peter and Amber Kohler. Peter is a knife guy. We got to get Peter on here because of the EDC stuff. I just got to tell you, I went over. We did a show at his place when they were up in Golden before he moved down here to the Castle Rock area, and he made. It takes like a week to make these knives. Unbelievable work that he has. We got to get him on here so he can bring some of his stuff. And he is one of the most charismatic people you'll ever talk to in your entire life. He is a ton of fun. We'll all hit it off immediately on the show, but he'll be able to come on because he is the reason I'm saying this, he's a huge EDC guy and really competent, like very, very good with blade and gun, like really, really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, he'd be a lot of fun to have on the show. So we can do another, because we got to do more EDC stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And
Dude,
he's
this is
just
awesome. This is fun. I can't
it's a
believe
ton of
we
fun.
haven't done more of this.
Well, that's because right now, in all fairness, there is a lot of crap happening in the world, and we
Very
addressed
true.
a lot of stuff in the first. I mean, outside of our wives episode, and even then, we went into a little bit of stuff. There's a lot of things we did in 17 episodes.
Yeah.
Because things are going on, and we need to keep talking about the stuff. And somebody said to me yesterday, as a matter of fact, they said, "Keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys are being a voice of reason right now for people that just need to hear this stuff." But man, it gets heavy, and we need to take a break. So doing these last 2 episodes have been awesome because now we can just sit back and this is our world. It's fun.
Yeah.
We're going to go, we got a big camping endeavor coming up. We're going to bring a bunch of
That's
people
gonna be fun.
together with ATVs and side-by-sides and shooting and grilling and campfire stories. And I mean, it's just going to be I think it's going to be an epic getaway. And we're going to build off of it. So we got some big announcements coming here.
Very excited. Very excited.
Big
things
announcements.
happening.
Yep.
Big things happening. More to come on that. And this has been a great episode. Excited to talk even more about we'll make it a regular thing. We'll bring gear, we'll talk about gear, we'll talk about tactics, and we'll have some fun with it more regularly on the show. You'll see more of this because this is definitely our roots. This is a big part of the reason why we were motivated to start this and to call it the Daily Carry Podcast because, this is what we enjoy. We enjoy talking about this stuff. We enjoy teaching this stuff. And we enjoy diving into the topic. And even whenever it comes to the gear, we love showing the gear. I like seeing what you're shooting. It's definitely probably nicer than me. I've got a gun that shoots itself apparently, but this has been fun, man. This has been good. So
You know what's great right now? The people are probably hearing something in the background. You hear some voices. We started off this way, and I'm going to end my piece right here. I love that we've got dudes that are coming in here. It's right there on the table. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. Good men down there on the mat right now, getting after it, making each other better. Eclectic group. I mean, we got a dude that was, we got a Ukrainian who speaks like 17 languages. We got Savage. Where was Savage? He's from Jordan, born in Jordan. Jordanian. I'm just going to say it. I am sick of the culture right now, and I'm sick of the race wars, and I'm sick of stuff going on. You want to have an eclectic group of dudes, come down to the Rock Jiu-Jitsu team. Mm-hmm. There's every walk of every culture coming through this place, and I love it. It is absolutely one of these things that I just thrive on because I love culture to begin with. Alex is awesome. Savage, he's a stud. But we're sitting up here talking about the things we love while they're down there doing the things they love that we also love. Mm-hmm. And I like hearing it through my headphones. As much as people might be sitting at home, you know what? Suck it up. Pretend you're in a coffee shop because this is what it's all about to me.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. Unapologetically, we're only going to do more. Mm-hmm. Like more and more is coming. And I said it yesterday on my own little personal thing. I'm not putting the chicken out. Chicken out. I'm not putting the
egg
cart
before.
Yeah, the cart before the horse is what I said. I'm not cracking the egg first. But we do have some things that we're going to be announcing very soon on a podcast. And I am super stoked about it because 2025, we're ramping up. 26 is going to be absolutely awesome. And I'm not just saying that from Jared and Mike on the little daily carry that's going to get bigger. I'm talking like legitimately big stuff, like huge stuff.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
More to come. Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to continue to deliver our absolute best with the podcast, and we'll have a lot more exciting projects that will go hand in hand with the podcast.
Lots of video coming.
So,
all right. You want me to close this out?
It's
it my
your
turn?
It is your turn.
So we must be in episode 20.
We are on episode 20, and it's already over. Can you believe it?
All right. Here we go. Father God, thank you for what a great opportunity today. Just talk about the things that we love. Man-made and forged, but crafted through your creation, and just eternally grateful for that. Thank you for Jared, his heart, what he brings to this, just his maturity, and just the enjoyment that we have working projects like this together, where we get to sit down and just talk about the stuff and then go out and prove it and do it, and just bring more people in as iron sharpens iron. So walk with us today on this journey as we move forth, and we will keep this all in your son's name as we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Till next time.
Till next.